Break the siege, a call for humanity, now. The flotilla sails toward Gaza not as an act of theater, but as a last, desperate attempt to pierce a blockade that has strangled a people. When food, fuel, medicine, and electricity are weaponized, the consequences are simple and brutal. Children grow weaker by the hour, hospitals struggle to treat the injured, and hope itself is starved. This is not a dispute of statistics. It is a human emergency screaming for conscience. We will not wait for permission to feel outraged. We will not allow geopolitical calculations to bury the simple truth. People under siege are entitled to life, safety, and dignity. The world's laws, the Geneva Conventions, and the common decency that binds us together exist precisely to stop collective punishment. When civilians are made tools of war, the international community must respond, loudly, legally, and without flinching. This is a call to the broad global public, to citizens, voters, artists, students, housewives, teachers, and everyone with a voice. Not to incite violence, not to spread hatred, but to demand action that preserves life. What we demand, urgently and peacefully. Immediate humanitarian corridors. Safe, unfettered passage for medical supplies, food, water, fuel, and electricity to reach civilians and hospitals. Independent investigations. Impartial international monitors must be allowed access to document harm and determine responsibility. Accountability is not vengeance. It is prevention. Diplomatic pressure. Governments must use their leverage in international institutions to insist on compliance with international law and to protect civilians. Support for civil society. Fund and protect organizations delivering aid on the ground. Protect journalists and human rights observers who bear witness. Public pressure. People everywhere should call on their elected officials, sign petitions, and support nonviolent global campaigns that seek to restore basic human rights. We know protest can be inconvenient. We also know history. Moral change rarely arrives without the rumble of public conscience. Standing silently in the face of suffering is complicity by omission. If you feel the pull in your chest when you read about children denied medicine, that feeling is not partisan. It's human. How to act peacefully and effectively. Inform yourself from verified, reputable humanitarian sources. Share factual, sourced reports. Attend lawful, peaceful demonstrations and vigils in your city. Visibility matters. Support verified humanitarian organizations providing medical relief, shelter, and food. Money and supplies translate directly into survival. Contact your representatives. Demand they press for humanitarian access, independent investigations, and diplomatic measures that protect civilians. Amplify survivors' voices and credible witnesses. Center human stories, not propaganda. Use consumer power responsibly. Broad, lawful boycotts by citizens and organizations are a nonviolent means to express dissent. Targeted instructions to specific workers are not our place to demand. We call on conscientious port managers, shipping companies, airlines, and insurers to review their responsibilities in light of international law and human rights, and to act in ways that minimize harm. Businesses and institutions have legal and moral duties that extend beyond profit margins. To those who say this is complicated, we answer, moral clarity need not be naive. Demanding humanitarian access and accountability is not the same as taking a side in a conflict of histories and politics. It is choosing life over siege, law over impunity, humanity over indifference. History will ask what we did when civilians' lives were at stake. We can choose to be remembered as those who answered the call, who refused to normalize blockade and starvation, who insisted on inspections, aid, and the impartial application of international law. We can choose to raise our voices now. For the people of Gaza, and for the conscience of the world, act. Demand corridors. Support aid. Call for investigations and accountability. Hold governments to their legal obligations. Stand visibly, peacefully, and with urgency. The flotilla may or may not reach its destination. But the moral vessel that must sail today is already underway. The vessel of witness, pressure, and action. Let us steer it towards saving lives.